It's okay to feel the feelings that you feel right now. I know in these times we're trying to distract ourselves from what's really going on, from what really is the problem. I know in these times that we don't want to focus on the problems and the issues. I know in this time we're trying to be positive and we're trying to stay entertained and we're trying to do every and anything not to face that problem. And I'm not talking about coronavirus. I'm talking about our deepest fears. I'm talking about our deepest, most painful guilt. I'm talking about those things that when we look in the mirror, we try to cover up and hide away from ourselves. But truly, in a matter of fact, it will always remain there undealt with. And so I'm trying to encourage you people today to take advantage of this time. Not just to entertain and indulge yourselves in the things that you have never had the chance to do at home because you didn't have enough time. And so now you have all the time to do whatever it is you would like to do. And so I commend you because it's important to stay close to family. It's important to study up on your books and your studies and going back to school. It's important to entertain yourself. Cook all the meals that make you happy. But just don't forget about your true self. That self inside of you that's been angry, that's been feeling left out, that's been selfish, not just to yourself, but to others. Deal with those true issues and watch. This situation, this time at home will transform you like you've never known before. This is something we've never seen in our lifetime. So make the best of it. Let it be long-lasting, not temporary things that you indulge in. If you gotta study up on your psychology, study up on your psychology. Get to know why you think the way you do. Get to know why you do the things that you do. If you gotta understand your faith more and you're a believer and you're not as devoted as you've always wanted to be, then start to be devoted in this time. You have all the time in the world, so there's no excuse but the only excuse that you make of it. And so stop being comfortable in our childish ways and sometimes our foolish ways that we, including myself, fall into. I want you guys to understand that you can be totally better, that you can be who you've always wanted to be. And you can accept yourself for who you're not already, because it takes time. If we want to be honest with ourselves, we can't expect change the next day, the next week, the next month. But what we can do is make the decision every single day to improve ourselves. Right? We can improve ourselves every single day, right? But it comes with a choice that you make every day. It's not just going to happen with time alone. Time won't make the change that needs to be made. You make the change within the parameters of the time. So that requires you every single day to decide to be better, be your best self. So indulge in books. Indulge in vlogging if you've always wanted to vlog. Practice it. It doesn't matter if you're not the best. It doesn't matter if you can't get 2 million views in a month. It doesn't matter about that. But because it's what you want to do, you just do it. Right? Everything else will work itself out in the end. But just try. Because there's someone out there. There's someone out there that needs you at your best self. And so if you're settling, then you're letting them down. And so that creates more guilt for you. And then you're just feeding into your fears and making your fears bigger than who you really are. And so you're affirming your fears and saying, because I fear this, I will not do that. And so my fears are bigger than my best self. Why? Why indulge in those things when you can indulge in your best self? Yes, it's hard work. I'm not saying you're going to just get there. You got to work at it. You got to be disciplined, right? You got to work out of this laziness inside of you, this procrastination. You got to work out of your comfortability and be uncomfortable. Be okay with being uncomfortable. Yes, that's what change takes. Because if you weren't uncomfortable, then that means you're comfortable. And if you're comfortable, that means you're just the same, right? But we're trying to change, aren't we? So obviously it's going to be uncomfortable. So be okay with uncomfortability. And own it. Own that uncomfortability. Own your new self. If you feel like you've made the change already, I commend you today. And say, own your new self. Because that's an amazing thing. That's a wonderful thing. It really is. And you don't understand. The work that you put in up until today is an amazing thing. Maybe someone hasn't gotten a chance to tell you, or maybe people just don't care enough to tell you. But I'm telling you that I see the change. If you see the change in the mirror, that's where it begins, right? It begins with you. And when you start to accept that and not worry about other people thinking, what other people saying, trying to prove and please other people, then you could see where you're at truly and gauge for yourself. So accept yourself because you're an amazing person. You're an amazing creature. And for those of you that want to change, that want to transform, and that see it happening, and you're taking the small steps at that, right? Good job. No, seriously, anything helps. Even the smallest of steps. When you say that I want to be a fit person and you make a commitment to wake up every single day to do 10 push-ups for a whole year, a whole entire year, expect that the next year you'll wake up and do 20 push-ups for the entire year. And so you start to create in you a habit. You start to creating you a new self, a physically fit self. Trust in yourself, because when the ideas come from you, they may not seem like they're able to be fulfilled because of society and because of everything going around you and every person telling you you can't do this. And you might say, yeah, I'm not listening to other people, but subconsciously you know you are. And I just got to call you out because I care about the people who are looking into my videos. And so I want to be honest with you guys. You know you care what people are saying. Subconsciously you do. But you'll never, ever move forward if you can't admit that. Right? You'll never be able to transform if you can't confess. So confess that. It's okay. Because I've been there where I've relied on other people's opinions. And I've relied on what other people think of me to become something, to be a better person. And it didn't get me far. And it was only temporary. That's all it was. Temporary milk. And it wasn't sustainable. It didn't create a foundation. It didn't make me better. No, all it did was cause me to take off responsibility for myself and put it on others. Because I felt like if I'm going to do something with my life or change a certain behavior or be a certain person, I'm not going to leave it up to me alone. No, I'm going to put it on someone else. So if it doesn't work out, I am not to blame. And so that's what many of us are doing. Because we hate feeling guilty, right? I understand. We hate feeling guilty. And we hate fearing bad outcomes. And so, how much worse can it get if you decide to do something on your own, and it's your own judgment, your own decision, and it doesn't work out? How horrible will you feel about yourself? How guilty will you feel about yourself? You couldn't trust yourself anymore. And so that's what many of us are stuck in. Not being able to trust ourselves. Insecure of how we look. Insecure of the paths we take. when I'm telling you that there's no need because I've been through it and I'm done relying on others. I'm making my decisions from now on. I'm becoming the person I want to be from now on. And if it doesn't work out in the end, then at least I could say I tried. At least I could say that I took responsibility. What maturity I must have. What maturity I must have in me. So that makes me a better person, just knowing the person that I am. I may not turn out in the best career. You know, right now I'm striding towards going to medical school and becoming a doctor. And that's my own decision that I've made. And I take full responsibility of it. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if I don't become that doctor, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be disappointed. But I'll never regret it. Because I took the responsibility for my own life, my own self. So that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. That yes, it's hard to take on responsibility in this life because we see what it does to people. But you don't have to be guilty. You could be more free because you're being true with what you really want, who you really want to be. So you owe yourself that, to at least be true with yourself. And if you're not ready, and if it seems scary, or if you seem like this has nothing to do with you, just keep it in mind and really think about it. Really think about the person you want to be and really think about how you're going to get there. And be brave about it because you're a brave person. Every person's a brave person. So I'm counting on you. And I'm counting on your friends and family or your support system around you. And if you feel like you're alone, you're not alone. There's always someone there. If you feel like you can't trust anyone, start to trust. At least you know that you're a trusting person. At least you know that you're a person that doesn't accept less than, that doesn't compromise. At least you know that you're an honorable person that deserves respect. And if the other person messes up, if people let you down and they disappoint you, accept that. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be angry. But don't get out of your character. Don't let another person turn you into who you're not. Just accept it. Be okay with it. And recognize that you are the amazing one. You're the honorable one for taking that step of vulnerability, of trusting another person, even when you know that there's a risk of being hurt. So start to trust yourself because you know there's a risk in being hurt in that. But trust yourself. You owe yourself that much. You do. Wow. And I thought I was going to come on this and start crying and start breaking down. Because I wanted to really be vulnerable with you guys. And I wanted to be genuine, because tears move people, right? But then as I'm going through it, I'm like, I'm good. I'm at a place where I need to share encouragement with others, shine a light on a whole different perspective. I'm at a point where I need you guys. And that's what gets me going. Sharing who I am, no matter if I recognize that this is so vulnerable that I could get so hurt and dragged along. It doesn't matter because I'm doing what I'm called to do. I'm staying true to myself, and this is what truly makes me happy. So I can't even cry. I can't even be sad because I'm sharing with you guys. And if you guys feel like there's something you're called to, but you feel held back because of something someone said, because you feel like no one understands what you're trying to do, or you feel like no one's on your side in the matter, don't let that stop you. Feel it, embrace it, Recognize who it's coming from, where it's coming from, and understand that if you care enough about yourself, that you're going to give yourself what it wants, right? You're going to give yourself those good things that it needs because you understand what it is to be excellent. You understand what it is to have standards higher than ever for yourself and not feel pressured about it and not feel like it's an impossible job. Because I want to remind you, just like I remind myself in the mirror every day, God is for me. God is with me. Peace out, y'all.